Alexandria.
So if it's not Kamala Harris, who is it? These are some of the young progressives in the party on who should lead Democrats.
I really like AOC. Unfortunately, I would like to see her stand and be more vocal about Palestine. But other than that, I really think that she should be the leader of the Democratic Party, as she is a Democratic socialist. Being also a young person, a young voter, a college student, seeing people like Zohran Mamdani, AOC just gaining so much more footing and so much more recognition in the policy field is very empowering.
I think candidates like Zohran Mamdani and AOC are really inspiring to see. They, someone like Mamdani, a Muslim like me, and Zainab here, it's so inspiring to see. And so I think that someone like that in 2028 can carry a lot of momentum. I think people are so excited.
So it goes back, Lawrence, to our point earlier about nothing's changed, no lessons learned. Right. It's resist Donald Trump, and move as far left as possible in the Democrat Party. AOC and others seem to be still getting the attention.
Yeah, and that's where all of the energy is for them. Look, losing stinks. It's the worst. And when you lose, everybody's a loser. You look backwards and you see Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and they're both losers, and you start seeing them start carping back and forth. And then you look forward and you have AOC and Mamdani and others who are part of the truly radical, crazy left-wing fringe of the party that, say what you want to about somebody like Nancy Pelosi. She was very effective at keeping the fringe part of her party under wraps. As she kind of rides off the sunset, Chuck Schumer is left. He doesn't know what to do. He has no ability to keep this fringe under wraps. And that's where all the energy is. That's where all the excitement is. The problem is when you get outside of the party, there isn't a broad, widespread general election support for this crazy nonsense. Full-blown communism here in New York City.
Well, you're right, Charlie. I think what this new generation of socialist Marxists, what they do very well is they diagnose the problem very well. When they talk about affordability and they say, you should, the quality of health care, even what's happening in Gaza, they say the children should not be dying. Of course, they don't say Hamas is responsible for a lot of the deaths there. Many of their solutions are so jacked up, but they do a great job in telling the American people, I understand your pain. Kind of, in effect, like Donald Trump, addressing the working class, people that feel forgotten in America. His solution is different. Bill Maher has a warning for the Democrats. Okay, yeah, these young people are crafty. They are inspirational. But if you run these people, the GOP will win the next election. Watch.
Do you think that he would have the power and influence to be able to, usher in socialism?
He definitely has the power and influence to elect J.D. Vance or whoever is the Republican candidate next time. It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party nationally.
I think the Republicans are going to...
When you let the Democrat socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get.
If you're engaging with a psycho who all they care about is controlling you, they're very good at diagnosing problems. Yeah. They're very good at figuring out what your weak points are. And that's, I would argue, what a lot of these people are doing.
That's right.
They recognize that if you can focus on these problems, then you can, use that dissatisfaction to gain power for yourself.
Right. When I see his face, I think immediately of his pitch for government-run, grocery stores.
That'll work out.
And I don't think there's any reasonable American who hears that and thinks that that's something that will work for them and their family.
But he's winning. And all of the polls right now, if you take Sliwa out of the polling, he still wins. If you take Adams out of the polling, he still wins. If you take Cuomo out of the polling, he still wins in New York City. This is supposed to be the financial capital of the world, and people are willing to elect a socialist. And, I don't want him to win. I hope people wake up. But I think this will be the next mayor of New York. And the question is, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, it'll be terrible for New York City, but Republicans will be able to run on this issue for as long as that guy's around.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a huge boon for Republicans and conservatives around the country, and New York City is going to pay the...
I will say this finally, when it comes to Bill Maher, it is so refreshing to see, once you remove the TDS, the Trump derangements, how you're able to look at the landscape and think logically. Bill Maher is still liberal. he's still a Democrat at heart. But he looks at the deck much differently now that he's met the president. He sees what's happening in the country. The liberals can recover. They can find some type of candidate, but they got to stop focusing on Donald Trump. Yeah. You can't look at every single issue and look at the president. You got to have your own policy prescriptions. And so now he's warning them, guys, if you do this, you may get a temporary sugar high because this is this crazy leftist, but you can't run a candidate like that nationally. People don't like you taking their money.
Yeah.
This is still America.
If Bill Maher can see it, it must be obvious.
Yep.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.